Hello, in this video we're going to be looking at iteration in Python. Iteration simply means looping. It's a way for us to get the computer to do the repetition for us. Instead of us repeating commands by copying and pasting them many times, it's more efficient for the code and for us as people. We can produce code faster if we make use of repetition or iteration. Last year in blocks, we used from the loops menu the repeat 10 times do command. That effectively was our iteration. And we would change the number inside the 10 there to make the blocks inside here repeat however many times we wanted them to. In Python, this command becomes for n, where n is just a counting variable, in range. So range is basically the command that replaces the repeat however many times, and then in brackets I write the number of times I want something to be repeated. Now in blocks, clearly you can see what is inside your loop because you tuck the blocks inside this do, and you can see Python uses a different notation. We have a colon, which is very important. So colons are how Python says I'm starting a new block scope. So what follows will be what I want you to do 10 times. The way Python, so after the colon, it is syntax, it's a rule of the language. We have to indent the code by tabbing it over, uh, and if I don't know what command I want to do at this moment, I use the placeholder command pass. So this loop will repeat and doing nothing 10 times. And we'll see how to do this. And effectively what we want to do is we want to replace this blank placeholder instruction pass with actual instructions that we want the computer to carry out for us. Now, to understand Python's white space block scoping rules, we need to talk about how this might look in other languages. So in pseudocode, we've got this bit of code here. We're printing out the message before loop. Then I've got for x equals 0 to 3 do, print loop, exclamation point, next x. So this effectively is my iteration loop. X will count from 0 and count up to 3. So this loop will run 4 times, and we will therefore print out the loop message 4 times. Why 4 times? Because 1 is one iteration, then x will become, 0 is the first iteration, 1 is the next iteration, 2 is the next iteration, and we go up to 3. So 0, 1, 2, and 3 is just counting, and that will tell the computer how many times we want to repeat that instruction. It's clear what instruction we want to repeat because it's between these two command words do and next. And so it makes no difference if I wrote the print command on the left hand margin. In these languages, where I write the command that's inside the loop makes no difference. You can see it's much harder to read, and it's considered good style to indent or to indent whatever's inside the loop. Lastly, this print after loop instruction happens after the loop has finished running. So the space in front of this print is not syntax, it's not required, it's however good style just to make the code easier to read. We know what's in the loop because of the command words do and next x. Whatever is between do and next x is what we will repeat or loop. Just like whatever's inside the block there is what we will repeat or loop. And next example is from the language called JavaScript. And a lot of computer languages like C use this notation. So we've got the equivalent. This would write before loop, and you can see there's our for loop. This stuff in the middle, don't worry too much about it. Basically, it's doing the same thing, starting x at 0, going up and it's checking while x is less than less than or while x is less than, I guess this should be less than or equal to 3, and we're going to keep adding on to x, and we print out the loop x equals 0, x equals 1, x equals 2, x equals 3, um, and so this also runs 4 times. You'll notice how I know what's in the scope of the loop, because in these languages, scope is denoted or represented by we start the scope with a curly bracket and we end the scope with a curly bracket. So therefore, whatever is between this open and closing curly bracket is inside the for loop. Again, because we have the curly brackets explaining for us what is inside the loop, we don't need to worry about how we write the code. Again, I could write it on the left hand side as shown, but that's considered bad style because it makes it harder to read. As before, it's good style to indent the code so it makes it easier to read. Finally, the document write after loop obviously happens after the loop because it's not inside the curly brackets. So Python, because the guy who invented it wanted to enforce this good practice of indenting your loops, made it part of the language rules. And so as a result of that, we have the following things that we need to be aware of. So this is what the Python code for these same two programs would look like. We're printing the loop before, and my for loop goes for x in range 4. So this is going to count for, this is just simply going to tell the loop to do itself 4 times. X will in fact become 0, 1, 2, and 3, but we're not using the value of x. All we need to know is that we're going to do this 4 times. That's all I need to know at this stage. And you'll notice after the for x in range brackets 4 has been written, we have a colon. Now that colon is really important because this is Python's way of saying what follows after the colon is the stuff I want you to repeat. Alright, so the colon, if you like, takes the place of the curly bracket or the command word do. But you'll notice Python has got no ending command block word. So there's no next x command, there's no closing curly brackets. So how does Python know what we want to put in the loop? The answer to that question is whenever there's a colon, Python expects the code that follows it to be indented by 1 tab space. That simply means move your mouse cursor to the beginning of the line, press the tab key once, and it will be indented. Okay, so the tab key is used to produce indents. And you'll notice that the print after loop is not indented. Neither is the print before loop. So the print, the start of the for loop, and the print loop must all be on the left hand margin. But the instructions I want to repeat must be tab spaced over so that Python knows these are the instructions that are inside the for loop. You could have more than one instruction as long as they are all tabbed over, and Python will then know that they're inside the for loop. And the final piece of the puzzle that we need to know about is how do I unindent? How do I get back out of the loop? So let's suppose you had this print after loop instruction incorrectly also indented like this. Alright, so let's suppose we had it like that so that it was also indented. Okay, I just want to stretch this down a bit so it's clear. So now what it will do is it will print loop but also print after loop 4 times because they are both inside the loop. So if I don't want this instruction to be repeated as being part of the loop, I have to unindent it. And the way we do that is you simply go to the front of the line and press Shift Tab. And that automatically will now unindent the command again, Shift and Tab together, unindent, and it will pull the command back to the left-hand margin. So to summarize, print before loop is not in the loop. The for x in range 4 is inside is our loop command, which needs the colon. After the colon, we need to have at least one command. In this case, we're going to be using we're going to print out the word loops. We'll do it 4 times here, and then to unindent, I go Shift Tab to move the command back over. All right. So um, in summary, therefore, you have this in your notes to remind you how this all works. So the for loop goes for count, and it doesn't matter what I call this variable. It could be called x, it can be called n, it can be called count. I like x and n because they're shorter to type, but if you want to write the word count for your variable, it's fine. The command word then follows in. We then have the command word range, open and close round brackets, and then in the round brackets, how many times do I want to repeat the loop? We then need to have this colon, and all the code I want to repeat must be tabbed over, and when I want to stop repeating code, I need to unindent by pressing the shift tab key. Alright, so let's look at this as a live WeDo demo. So in your workbook, please can you scroll down until you find the Key Stage 3 Unit 5 Lesson 3 Example 1 bit of work. So I'm going to try and do this live in the workbook so you can see what I'm on about, but just have a little bit of a job to get this to all fit nicely in my window. So the best way to do this bit, at the very top of your workbook you have this click me thing, and hopefully you've clicked that already, and that should open a new browser, and hopefully you're signed in. That would just make sure you're signed in. It'll make the next steps a bit easier. Alright, so once you're signed into Trinket, so you logged into your browser in Trinket, we scroll down in the workbook till we get to the section that, so there's our example to remind you about how the white space works, notes. We're going to open that Key Stage 3 Unit 4.5 example. So it opens up in Python. I just want to make my writing a bit bigger so people can see it. Alright, so there's my example, and you can see at the moment we have no repetition. We have simply manually copied this print loop many times. So we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 repetitions of the print loop command. I want to, instead of copying and pasting it myself, I want to turn this into a more efficient program by using the for loop. Alright, so I just move above the commands and I type in for, and like I said, let's go with n. Any variable will do, so I could have used x, I could have used count here, as long as it's a word starting with a letter and there's a one word no space thing, it's fine. Alright, so for n, then the command word n, then the command word range, and I'm going to replace, well, how many times I want to do this? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I'm going to want to do this 6 times, so that's what I put in the round bracket. And then finally, colon to say I'm about to start the loop. When I press enter now, you'll notice that I'm automatically indented. Okay, so I'm going to pull one print loop command into that indent by pressing the backspace key, which will pull it onto that correct line. Or the other way that I could have done this is I could have just pressed go to the front and press the tab key once. That will do it. So that now, so this print command is now inside that print loop, and then I can just delete and get rid of this extra space over there. Just make sure it's nicely lined up. So one tab space over. Now let's suppose I accidentally put 2 commands in there and I only want the one. All I need to do to unindent something is go shift tab, and it now moves it back. Tab moves it over, shift tab moves it back on the margin. Okay, so I don't need the rest of these now. I can delete them. So we can either delete them or I can just comment them out by putting a hashtag in front of them. Remember, the hashtag will turn the command off. So I'm not going to use those commands anymore, but I'm still going to get the same effect. So you can see what happens when I run it. There it is over there. It hit run. I still get it running 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 times. But the advantage is I can now control how many times it does it. So if I only want to do it 4 times, I change one thing in the program, and now presto, I've got 1, 2, 3, 4 loops. Okay, so when you're done with that, make sure you remix and save your work, and get the link. So I remind you, you go link, copy your link of the remix, and go back into your workbook and paste the link here in your workbook. Press the spacebar. All right, so that is our first example. The next one is very similar, so it's a familiar one. So if we open now the next example, it's the example to what it's doing is drawing a square. And again, we've got a lot of things being repeated, and I would much rather we use the for loop to do that. So if I look at this, I've got a forward 10, right 90. Then I have a forward 10, right 90. Okay, so I can split this up by pressing enter. So going after all the right 90s and press enter. That allows me to split up the command so I can see exactly what it is that is going on. So clearly I have 1, 2, 3, 4 repetitions of move forward, turn right. By the way, let's remix our work while we are at it right now. So, as before, we're going to turn this, instead of being manual repetition, into computer iteration. So again, for n in range, open close brackets. How many times am I going to do it? 4 times. Move to the right, colon, and press enter. You can see it's pulled, it's indented for me. If I press the delete or the back, I go to the beginning of this and press backspace, it'll pull the forward command tabbed over. Now, but the right command is not tabbed over. I do want it tabbed over, so I move to the front of the command and press the tab key. And the rest of these I no longer need. So either I can delete them or I can just hashtag them out. Okay, so I'm just gonna hashtag them out. So we're no longer doing the doing it through manual repetition. We are doing it now through iteration. So same program, but now it's being drawn using iteration, a for loop. Okay, remember to save your remix, get the link, and again back into your back into copy the link, back in your team workbook, paste and press space. Okay, so that's effectively that's our we do section together. Your task is to complete as much of these 3 questions as possible. They all start off with some manual repetition. You have to apply what you've learned from the I do, we do section, turn them into iteration, rewrite the code so it uses for loops. The first one, there's a lot of hints explaining what you need to do. The ones that follow it, you need to do a bit more work yourself. All right, that's it. Good luck with the you do tasks. Mr. Holmes signing out.